until you make the unconscious conscious. It will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This warning from Carl Jung is not just about individuals, it is about entire nations, and today it echoes in the fear of replacement and the death of Charlie Kirk. When Charlie Kirk warned about a great replacement in America, the internet exploded. Critics called it racist, supporters called it brave truth-telling. But beneath the noise lies a deeper question. What does this fear of replacement really mean? Through the lens of Carl Jung's shadow work, we discover that Kirk's words may reveal something more than politics. They expose the unconscious fears of an entire society. And whether you admire or despise him, this perspective could change how you see the debate forever. Context: the Great Replacement. Kirk's controversy. The phrase Great Replacement did not begin with Charlie Kirk. It comes from a conspiracy theory in Europe claiming that native populations, especially white Europeans, are being systematically replaced through immigration and demographic change. In America, the idea spread quickly through political discourse. For critics, it became a dangerous code, a way of fueling racism, fear of immigrants, and even justifying violence. And then came Charlie Kirk. As founder of Turning Point USA, he built his reputation on fiery debates. On college campuses, he confronted students with bold claims, challenging their assumptions, inviting them to prove me wrong. When Kirk spoke of a great replacement, his opponents seized on it. Headlines branded him racist. Commentators accused him of echoing the language of extremists. But to his supporters, Kirk was doing what few dared, voicing a fear many Americans quietly held. That rapid cultural change, immigration, and political realignment were leaving them behind. This is where the controversy ignites. Was Kirk amplifying hate, or was he giving words to an unspoken anxiety that millions already felt? Through a political lens, the answer is endlessly debated, but through a Jungian lens, the question transforms. Because Carl Jung would not simply ask, "Is it true?" he would ask, "What does this fear reveal about the shadow of society?" Jung's shadow and the fear of replacement. Carl Jung once said, "Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in conscious life, the blacker and denser it is." The shadow is the hidden side of the psyche. It holds the anger we suppress, the fears we deny, the desires we cannot admit. Individually, it is the part of us we push away. Collectively, it is the part of society a culture refuses to face. And here lies the key. The shadow always demands expression. If we do not integrate it, we will project it outward. Now think of the fear of replacement. On the surface, it looks like demographics and politics, but beneath the surface, it is the shadow speaking. It is the unspoken anxiety of losing identity, the suppressed terror of becoming irrelevant, the repressed grief over a world changing too fast. These are not just political talking points, they are psychological wounds, and when wounds are denied, they return as projections. Jung would say, "The enemy is rarely who we think it is. We project the shadow onto others, immigrants, outsiders, those who look or believe differently. We call them the threat, the replacement. But in truth, we are haunted not by them, but by our own unintegrated fears." So when Charlie Kirk spoke of a great replacement, he may not have been describing reality itself. He was giving voice to the collective shadow, to the darkness society cannot face within, and so imagines outside. Projection, turning fear into the enemy. Jung warned us about a dangerous process. He called it projection. Projection happens when we cannot face what lives inside ourselves. We take our fear, our anger, our insecurity, and we throw it outward. We paint it onto another person. We make them carry what we refuse to see. Think of the fear of being replaced. Inside it is the terror of losing worth, the fear of fading into irrelevance, the pain of change we cannot control. But rather than admit this vulnerability, we project it. We place it on the other, on immigrants, on outsiders, on anyone who represents change. Suddenly, they are no longer human beings. They are the embodiment of our shadow. They become the threat, the enemy, the cause of all our suffering. This is the trap of projection, because once the shadow is externalized, conflict feels inevitable. If the other is the shadow, then fighting them feels like survival. Violence even feels righteous. And here lies the tragedy. The shadow we fight outside is never defeated, because it lives within us. Every battle with the other only deepens the wound inside. So when Charlie Kirk spoke of replacement, he may have been voicing a projection already at work, a fear that society had projected onto outsiders, not because they truly are the enemy, but because the unconscious demands someone to carry the shadow, the collective shadow and social polarization. Individually, projection is dangerous. Collectively, it becomes catastrophic. When thousands, even millions, share the same unspoken fears, the shadow fuses into something larger, a collective possession. In this state, reason collapses, dialogue dissolves. The other side is no longer a neighbor or a fellow citizen. They are the shadow itself. They are darkness embodied. And once that line is crossed, polarization becomes inevitable. We see it in headlines, in social media threads, in the way families split across dinner tables, one side projecting fear onto the other side responding in kind, an endless hall of mirrors, rage reflecting rage, hatred multiplying hatred. This is what Jung would call the inflation of the shadow, the psyche of an entire nation held hostage by its denied darkness. And when society is consumed this way, every disagreement feels existential. Every election feels like life or death. Every opponent feels like an enemy who must be destroyed. Charlie Kirk's words about replacement landed in this polarized field. To his critics, he confirmed their worst fears. To his followers, he voiced what they already felt. But beneath both reactions was the same truth: a society possessed by its shadow. A society unable to see the human being, only the projections of its own fear. Toward integration, a Jungian response. Jung never left us in despair. He warned of the shadow's power, but he also revealed its hidden gift. The shadow, though dark, is not only destruction, it is also potential. Energy waiting to be integrated. A teacher disguised as an enemy. So what would integration look like in the face of fears like replacement? First, it means admitting the fear, not projecting it onto outsiders, but saying it aloud. We are afraid of change. We are afraid of losing identity. We are afraid of being forgotten. When such fears are acknowledged, they lose their grip. When they are repressed, they become rage. They explode into violence. Second, integration requires seeing the humanity in the very people we fear. Immigrants are not shadows. They are people, neighbors, mothers, fathers, children. To reduce them to a threat is to stay trapped in projection. By recognizing them as human, we reclaim our own humanity. Finally, integration means finding meaning in the transformation itself. What feels like replacement may also be renewal, death and rebirth, the archetypal cycle Jung saw everywhere. The old identity gives way so that something larger, more whole can emerge. This is the Jungian path forward, not denial, not repression, but integration. Facing the shadow, naming it, embracing its lesson, so that it no longer rules us from the dark. Charlie Kirk's words about a great replacement ignite fierce debate. For some, they fuel fear. For others, they expose truth. But Jung would remind us, the deeper question is not whether it is fact. The deeper question is, what does this fear reveal about us? Because every society has a shadow, and until we face it, we will keep projecting it onto others. We will keep dividing. We will keep destroying ourselves. The challenge before us is not to silence the shadow, but to integrate it, to take fear, anger, grief, and turn them into understanding, dialogue, and renewal. This is the work Jung called us to. This is the path from fracture to wholeness. Now I turn to you. Do you believe integration is possible? Can a society trapped in fear learn to face its shadow? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this journey through Jung's psychology resonates with you, subscribe for more explorations into the hidden depths of the psyche, and share this video so that more people can see what lies beyond fear, not just darkness, but the possibility of light.